Oh, I've been waiting to complain about this bullshit. Greg's Turk supplements are garbage. Don't ever buy pills from someone whose last name rhymes with douche. End of story, man. No, okay, here's what turkesterone is. Do you know? If you don't, turkesterone is a plant-based protein. Basically, what we have as testosterone in our body, turkesterone is that in plants. So they've extracted that, and it could possibly have steroidic effects on our human bodies. That has not been proven. That is a pipe dream. The only thing that works as good as steroids is steroids. So I think what he's done is taken a few studies and capitalized on those, when in reality, the greater version of science says that they're absolute bull. They don't do anything outside of maybe like pretty much the same effects as creatine, maybe even less. You know, it totally depends on what you're looking at, but over the span of all the data, those supplements are trash. Oh, sorry, I'm out of breath because I'm doing legs. So did you try it? No, I generally don't have to, because turkesterone isn't a trend anymore. It was huge. It was promoted on Joe Rogan, who has no credibility, and the people who are on it are not real doctors. So this is a fad from around 2021 that was just kind of like promoted through stuff, and now no one talks about it anymore because they've moved on to other I'm not going to suggest putting any supplement into your body outside of protein, caffeine, and creatine, because those are the only three major studied supplements that have actual quantifiable results in the body. Everything else currently right now is just kind of all over the place. And I think people are seeing the effects of steroids after long-term use, and they're getting really scared. So they're looking for a lot of different options that could do the same thing. But the thing is, steroids are steroids because they're steroids and not supplements. So I would stay away from those supplements in general. If I'm giving advice to anyone, I think unless you are in your like top 90% fit era, unless you've plateaued and you know you can't improve outside of supplements that are going to help you take you to that next like 110%, I don't think supplements are necessary. I think often it is a just kind of like mind muscle connection that needs to change. Maybe you need to shift your workout style or how heavy you're going, or shift different kinds of things in your life. I think people often use a plateau in their training as an excuse to get on a supplement. And then as they kind of like change this mentality because they're excited about a supplement, they give the credit to the supplement when really they're just doing more work. Because if you're genuinely low T and looking for alternatives to replacement therapy, that's what you got to discuss with a doctor or other people who actually know how that works. I study, I'm not a dietitian. I'm not a doctor, so I wouldn't even be able to give you the proper advice. But I can tell you for sure right now, for your situation, turkesterone is not going to do for you, and you're just going to be wasting your time and money. So there's that. Greg Doucette pisses me off too. I don't trust that man. This is low hanging fruit. But why does he spend so much time commenting on young people's bodies? Why is all of his channel now just like investigating whether someone's natty or not? Get a job. I don't know. What supplements do you think are good for most? Well, I mean, as I said before, the only supplements, scientifically proven, the only supplements that work, affected, and are studied a lot and are proven to be great at what they do, creatine, caffeine, protein. So those three, I'd say go nuts. Thing is, in 2023, a study showed that 89% of all supplements on the market either were misleading or lying about the substance that was actually in their product. So to say that like 89%, nearly 90% of all supplements don't have the exact ingredients that are on the label. So already, just like when you go to the store and you look at all the supplements available, you're already rolling the dice. Second, the FDA does not regulate supplements. Because it's technically dietary. So in America, you can just put out a supplement and claim that it does a thing, and you cannot get in trouble for that until once it's on the market, someone proves that you're lying. So already, if you're buying a supplement from an influencer, someone who's not fucking accredited or like knows anything outside of how to do a bicep curl, then like we're just like what's the point? When I'm buying something supplement related, I should say this. When it comes to protein, even caffeine, whatever. When it comes to creatine specifically, what I like to buy is just the simplest version. Don't add anything. Don't have creatine in your protein powder, because I like to keep track of my doses so that when it changes my body or I feel something different, I know exactly what's going on. Like if I'm putting 3 different things in my body and I feel energized, I can't necessarily tell what of those 3 things is doing it for me. However, if I put one thing in my body, if I add creatine to my diet for a week and suddenly, the veins are popping a little bit more, I know that creatine is doing it. So, what's the creatine that I buy? Hold on. I think it's creatine isolate. Let me see. Monohydrate. There it is. So creatine monohydrate is what I go to. Boom. It is just pure creatine. It is the cheapest option. It is the simplest option. I love this thing. I think it works great. It's unflavored. A scoop a day. You're doing great. Do I follow Eric Berg at all? No, that's a thing. I go in and out. There's so many people out there. Weight loss creator, Eric Berg, DC? Oh, a chiropractor? Uh-oh. Chiropractors giving out weight loss advice. That's a red flag to me. Why? What's he doing? He could know what he's talking about. What's your question though? Because you just asked if I know who he is. Researcher and chiropractic doctor specializing in weight loss with alternative healthcare practices, helping thousands of people to achieve permanent weight loss, enjoy healthier, more energetic lives. I always refer to people who are dietitians when it comes to weight loss. I find that they just know so much more, and tend to give out less opinions. I thought he was a nutritionist. No. The thing about chiropractors is I have to check my language right now, because I just saw a chiropractor for my back recently because I had a little muscle spasm, and he was so good. He treated me more like a sports scientist than an actual chiropractor. But the thing about chiropractics is that it is not like a medically accredited thing. So to be a chiropractor, to be licensed, you could be great at what you do, but that is not the same as going through the process of becoming a nutritionist. It's not the same as becoming a doctor. It is a different science, and it has very little to do with what they often tell people, which is often pseudoscience. Now, here's the thing. There are a ton of ways to get healthy, and sometimes, a broken clock is right twice a day. There are a lot of chiropractors that I don't trust giving out advice online. That's not necessarily meaning that they say all garbage. However, when they are not a nutritionist, when they're not a dietitian, if they're telling you how to lose weight, including me, I'm not a dietitian, I'm not a nutritionist, you have to treat what they say with a grain of salt, and you always should get a second opinion. If no one else is saying something about a process, that's usually the indicator that it might actually not be the safest process. Chiropractors are closer to fortune tellers than doctors. Yeah, I put chiropractors and acupuncturists in the same kind of category. Again, like, it's a medicine that is valid, but it is not a medicine that is so encompassing that I think often they swing their doctor dicks around in places that don't belong. And that's a huge problem I see, especially in like pseudoscience spaces. They claim to be a doctor because they are. Meanwhile, they just like, they're generally fear-mongering and telling people what to do. I did try his electrolyte powder and TBH. I'm going to order some more because I felt amazing on it. I mean, babe, you're just describing hydration, though. That's great. That's hydration. Awesome. But I like also, yeah, great. Electrolytes. I don't mean to yuck your yum. Electrolytes are another thing that are often overplayed because just by eating enough healthy food and vegetables, you get a natural amount of electrolytes in your body, and overdoing it is overkill. However, having too many electrolytes in your body isn't like harmful, but it is technically like a very new avenue of play, a new playbook for just selling people something they already kind of get. It's why Khloe Kardashian is selling popcorn with protein in it. It's a fun little fad that tends to not do much. However, some electrolyte fucking powder after a hangover. Ooh! After I've had like a really long day and waking up the next day and I know that I have to like get into it, bitch, that shit's great. So it has its place. But I think most people have enough electrolytes. They just don't drink enough water, and then they drink that electrolyte stuff. I mean, you get it. Anyway, if you love it, you love it. That's great. Electrolytes are important when you are low on them, like during a really long run, hours of yard work, hungover. Yes, rarely are people in that position with no other sustenance, right? Like, yes, electrolytes are important after you've been sweating for a long time, but how many of us are sweating for so long and eating so little that we need a drink to replenish our electrolytes? Very few people. It's a specific thing that doesn't apply to a lot of the people that are having it. Yeah. It makes me wake up too early and I get sleep deprived. Interesting. A lot of different effects. I work in 100-degree. Oof. 6 hours, don't eat until I go home. Yeah, that probably makes you feel great. Exactly. You sound like you know what you're doing. Just be careful. That's the end of this. I really don't like to police what other people do, but I do really hope that everyone is critical and skeptical of anyone who's telling them that they're putting poison in their body, you know, because it's never that dramatic. And someone who's trying to fearmonger is going to have an easier time selling you a product than someone who's just telling you the facts, you know? Oh, speaking of hydrate. Save me money from the Turk. Yeah, dude. Yeah. I'm glad we can have that chat. I am working on a YouTube video about it. I was working on a video of supplements because there's so many out there that I just want to talk about, and I think it's important to talk about. And yeah, I just don't respect Greg Doucette, so I added a chapter with him and Turkesterone as well. Thanks, Somber. Have a good one.